It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Nation TV. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Nation TV. And we're coming to you live from CB Gitty. It's the Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
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 It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Can you believe it? Here we are again, another Friday with the Gitty Gang Show. You gotta know, folks, we got a little iPad going here where we can see comments, and during that intro that runs, we're able to see your comments going by, seeing all the names popping up there, saying, "Ah, look, Corb Cole's out there," and Michael Capato says the weekend has officially begun. I think we got another hour or so yet before ours begins, but
Another
3 hours. Well, welcome everyone to this episode of the Gitty Gang Show, number 68.
68.
Can you believe it? I can't. Anyway, so a beautiful, I'd like to say a bright and sunny fall day here in New Hampshire, but of course it's cold and gray, but not raining, I'd like the record to show. So we've got what I hope will be a good show for you today. We've got some new things to show off, a little picking and grinning to do. The winners of last week's gift certificate giveaway will soon be announced, more towards the third half of today's show. How do they get entered to win said gift certificates, Mr. Glenn T. Watt?
To win said gift certificates, one should think about sharing this show publicly. That means that when you go to share the show, there's a little menu at the bottom of that post, and you click it, a drop-down menu, and it gives you options with whom it is you would like to share this wonderful show. And we ask that you choose publicly because it allows us to see that you've shared it. Please.
That's it. We got Mr. Nick Lanciano back there behind the producer's desk, floating strangely between the bodiless embodiment of Nick there.
No attention to the man behind the computer screen.
Marty Tauber says he's joining us from the winding bench. Oh, are you?
I'm holding them there.
Yeah. Thanks, Glenn.
Marty's joining us from the winding bench. He has been sending wicked buckers. It seems like every other day I'm getting a PayPal invoice, one of which I need to pay after this show, I ain't gonna lie. Don't worry, Marty, I haven't forgotten. Got a couple of songs to sing for you today, both of which involved in and amongst Veterans Day, which comes up in 2 days, November 11th. So honoring veterans. Now, those of you in the United States probably know, those of you abroad may not, but we have two holidays focused on people who have served the nation in the armed services. Veterans Day are for those still alive.
Veterans Day, still alive.
And remembering those. And then Memorial Day is for those who have passed.
Yeah, and we do have an Armed Forces Day for those who are active duty.
Oh, sure.
And I believe, I think that outside of the United States, Veterans Day is referred to as Armistice or Remembrance Day for the conclusion of World War I.
World War I.
All right. So.
And we're going to be singing a song that involves World War I here very shortly.
Yes, we will.
Not written about or by an American. So, first I want to say, we talked about the gift certificates. Today would normally be $5 Friday, but it is not $5 Friday because $5 Friday has been superseded, supplanted as it were, by a 15% off musical instrument kit sale going on CB Gitty right now. All of our musical instrument and amplifier kits, 15% off.
Huzzah.
Call it a Veterans Day sale, call it a, we want to sell some kit sale, whatever you want to call it. It is happening through Sunday evening, so get on over there. It's a good opportunity to buy kits as gifts, and you don't have to wait for Christmas.
Yes.
Giving a kit to a friend as a gift is a great way to spread this whole cigar box guitar, homemade, handmade instrument, music movement. So there you go, buddy.
Those are facts. Facts.
Facts indeed. Are they able to? Oh, they're not able to see. Just barely. Okay, keep that out. This is being unveiled later. I don't want it creeping into the shot.
What you got next here?
Right into the song?
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. It's not being played on a hobo fiddle. I found, and here's the reason why I'm not going to play it on the hobo fiddle. I have found with some songs, and playing the chord forms that I play on the 3-string, often one of the notes of the chord you're strumming isn't there. So how I play a D chord, I'm actually holding down A, letting the D string ring, and A, so A, D, A. There's no F sharp in there, which should be in a D chord. So when I'm trying to sing a song, especially a song that's a little more challenging vocally, I often have to listen for that note to be able to not be sharp or flat. So for more challenging songs, I often grab a 6-string. Fortunately, I built myself a 6-string for just such an emergency.
And before too long, you'll be delving into the 4-string arena.
Indeed. I have vowed. I've been doing a lot of talking about it. It always starts with a lot of talking, and then eventually I make my way into the doing part. Usually, not always. So anyway, this is a song about World War I, about it's not a happy song. It's about the aftermaths of war, the people who have gone through war and what they have to face after. And it is an Australian song entitled "The Band Played Waltzing Matilda," written, I believe, in the 1970s by Eric Bogle, who wrote a number of beautiful songs. And this one involves a traditional Australian tune called Waltzing Matilda. It is not Waltzing Matilda, it's the band played Waltzing Matilda. And we're going to attempt it in the key of C. Got Glenn Watt on the 2-string G bass right here.
Yeah, buddy.
And I'm on my Coke Crate Casey Jones guitar. And not going to do it too slow because there's a lot of verses. And if I go too slow, we'll be here tomorrow, folks. Still going. That's the wrong rhythm. When I was a young man, I carried me pack and lived the free life of the rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, I waltzed my Matilda all over. Then in 1915, my country said, "Son, it's time to stop rambling, there's work to be done." So they gave me a tin hat and gave me a gun and sent me away to the war. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as the ship pulled away from the quay. And amidst all the tears, flag waving and cheers, we sailed off for Gallipoli. Well, I remember the terrible day our blood stained the sand and the water, and how in that hell that they call Soothe the Bay, we were butchered like lambs at the slaughter. Johnny Turkey was ready, oh, he primed himself well. He rained us with bullets and he showered us with shells, and in 5 minutes flat we were all blown to hell. Nearly blew us back home to Australia. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as we stopped to bury our slain. And we buried ours, and the Turks buried theirs. Then it started all over again. Those who were living just tried to survive that mad world of blood, death, and fire. And for 10 weary weeks I kept myself alive, while round me the corpses piled higher. Then a big Turkish shell knocked me arse overhead, and when I awoke in me hospital bed, saw what it had done and wished I were dead. Never knew there were worse things than dying. And the band played Waltzing Matilda, and the car pulled down the gangway, and they buried us, the Turks bears. They collected the wounded, the crippled, the maimed. They shipped us back home to Australia. The armless, the legless, the blind, the insane, those proud wounded heroes of Suvla. And when the ship pulled into Circular Quay, I looked at the place where me legs used to be, and thanked Christ there was no one there waiting for me. To grieve and to mourn and to pity. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as they carried us down the gangway. But nobody cheered, just stood there and stared, and turned all their faces away. Now every April I sit on my porch and watch the parade pass before me. I see my old comrades, how proudly they march, renewing their dreams of past glory. I see the old men, all tired, stiff and sore, the weary old heroes of a forgotten war. The young people ask, what are they marching for? And I ask myself the same question. And the band plays Waltzing Matilda, and the old men still answer the call. But year after year, the numbers get fewer, so no one will march there at all. Waltzing Matilda, Waltzing Matilda, who'll come a waltzing Matilda with me? And their ghosts may be heard as they march by the billabong. Come a waltzing Matilda with me. Ooh. Well, there's half the show gone.
Great job.
Only missed one chorus in there somewhere.
That was good.
Some of the words are printed out there right in front of the camera. You can't see them, I can, but I was doing my best to not look at them and go all from up here. I've added a solid 700 on that, I think. Maybe 750. All right, well, thank you for sitting through that. Like I say, not a happy song, but it tells quite a story, and it's a pretty song, I
That's
think.
beautiful. Yep.
So we'll be doing another Veterans Day song shout out a little bit later to one of the 4 armed forces here in the United States. I'll give you a hint. It's not the Air Force, and there's a reason for that.
Why is that?
It turns out that the song we're going to be doing is from the new Cigar Box Guitar Songbook Volume 2, which just today was listed on cbgitty.com. We just got them in today, the fancy printed whoop-de-doo versions, and the song we're going to be doing is from this book.
And each song in these songbooks has versions, is that correct? Each song has just chords, just melody, melody and chords.
Yep, basic melody, melody and chords. Often I present two different keys, so you can strum them in G or strum them in C. The reason the Air Force song is not in this book is that it is technically, as far as I understand, is still copyrighted. Of the 4 Armed Services theme songs, it's the only one.
It's the newest branch of the Armed Services.
It is. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Ballad of the Green Berets. Get Glenn Watt going on that.
We do have totally free to download.
Free to download!
On cigarboxguitar.com, tablature for Ballad of the Green Beret for both 3-string guitars and 2-string G basses. So.
Did you do another version of it?
What's that?
Because Nick had done a version of it a while back.
I don't know, but right now there's a 3-string and a 2-string tablature on cigarboxguitar.com. That's for sure.
So yeah, we'll be talking more about that songbook and the other songbooks and some other good stuff in a bit. But right now, oh boy!
Oh, let's hope I'm ready for this.
Woo! I'm ready.
All right. Well, welcome back to Watt Corner, where you submit images to us, we put them on the website, and then I share them here on the Gitty Gang Show for the rest of the world to see. So thank you for sharing those who've shared. And
It's like a recycling program.
Yes.
Taking good things, helping make them better.
This is always the section of the show where I wonder, did I get all the images in the right order, even though they're
We'll
numbered?
soon find out. Here's Glenn Watt, everybody.
First up, Timothy Prescott, a huge, wonderful member of the Cigar Box guitar community. He's somebody I met when I first started here about, started being active online in Facebook, and it's going back 5 years. Before we were really even, as a business, heavy on Facebook. I believe we were dragging our feet there for the first year or so, getting
It'll never catch on.
And then there it was, just everybody and their brother was on, and sister was on Facebook in some sort of Cigar Box guitar community. But this is first up, is from Timothy Prescott. He's building a tribute to Jerry Garcia's Tiger guitar. If you don't know first of all, if you don't know Jerry Garcia, he was basically the front man of the Grateful Dead, an incredible guitarist. Whether or not you like the Grateful Dead, the guy could play guitar. And
you don't know who Jerry Garcia is, to hell with you.
Okay, then I'm going to hell. What?
You know who he is.
He doesn't. Everyone knows who he is. So, and Jerry Garcia's Tiger guitar, if you haven't seen it, it's really cool. It was actually built by a luthier who's best known for building guitars for Jerry Garcia. Doug Irwin built 5 guitars for Jerry. Timothy is doing his guitar as a tribute to Jerry's Tiger guitar. So you can see like the little tiger emblem on the backside behind the tailpiece. Timothy used all sorts of parts from us. You can see the gold skull tuners, the dual humbuckers, the single coil pickup, the gold hardtail bridge, and the volume and tone and 3-way selector switch plate that he's got there, all going on a Cigar Box guitar. And then the next image Nick has for you, the reason I wanted to highlight this is because Timothy is an excellent craftsman. If you haven't seen some of his other stuff, he's really just good at what he does. And so you can see him notching out the box here, the lid for the pickups, and that headstock, although I didn't crop the image and make it so you just see the headstock, it's a beautiful paint job, masterfully crafted, nice slope to it, wonderful edges, it's well rounded, it's a beautiful, beautiful headstock. I hope you're out there, Timothy, seeing this, because really proud of what you've done here. It's really good stuff. And then the last image from Timothy's selection here, I just wanted to show you what it's looked like as it's coming together. This is, I think, one of the more recent images that I could get showing Timothy's tribute to the Jerry Garcia's Tiger guitar. I think it's just some fine work. I'm proud that he's using parts that we have here, and I think you're making a terrific instrument, Timothy, so thank you. Next up, we have stalwart and true CBGitty.com member, or customer and friend of the family, as Jimmy C. Jimmy C's got here, and as he wrote in a picture on his guitar, he writes, "My best friend is coming for the weekend. Last time he was here, he asked me to make him a guitar. We played music together for 49 years. That's longer than I've been alive. 49 years.
Not by much.
Not by much, I'm right there. And Jimmy says that he sent a picture to us of his band circa 1976, 2 years after I was born, and we sent him back, Ben sent him back, Ben did the image, beautifully done box kit with the picture on the lid, which is what you see here. And as Jimmy writes, all my guitars seem to tell a story, and won't my partner be surprised when I give him this new guitar this weekend? Yes, he will be, Jimmy, because it's awesome. Especially since he has such a big part of the story that this guitar has to tell. And I'm glad that you shared that story with us, because you know that I love the stories that y'all have behind your instruments. Thank you, Jimmy C. Next up, behind Jimmy C, or after Jimmy C, is Danny Weddle. And I love this because this is back, this is a
second edition, baby.
Cover to a Dungeon Master's Guide from Dungeons & Dragons that I remember
Player's Handbooks.
Player's Handbooks, I'm sorry. That I remember back from when I was in 4th or 5th grade, and I had a friend who played D&D and tried to get me into it, and I was too, let me put it to you this way. If I was 10 years old now, I'd be one of those kids with my face smashed into a device all day long. So I unfortunately did not get into Dungeons & Dragons, but this brought me back to that day. I love seeing this. Danny Weddle brought this in.
Look at the volume knob.
Yeah, it's a nat 20.
20-sided die.
Got the 20-sided die.
It's on a nat. Okay,
The whole thing is complete, so it's really good stuff.
It is on a nat 20.
Rolled a crit.
No. So awesome work, and Danny built that for a church auction. I think they're gonna love it, Danny. If they haven't already seen it, I think they're gonna love that. So that's awesome stuff. Now, next up from Jim W.
There's a funny thing about that being for a church auction, considering how much the church vilified.
Well, when I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to play D&D.
Me either.
Because of church issues. Anyway, continue, Glenn. You're
it's
doing
a
a
great
good job,
looking
Amy.
guitar.
Great stuff here. All right, Jim W. is next with a solid pine body, custom painted guitar that something I'm really fond of is he used a window pull as the tail piece. So he's got the strings like a top mount or bottom mounted strings coming up through a window pull, and then he used the CB Gitty amp kit to make that beautiful amplifier. And you can see the other parts. He's got the southbound strings going over a chrome snake oil pickup, over medium fret wire, using those gold Gibson style speed knobs that we have. So I just was really impressed by the work that he did here. Almost looks like a bolt-on neck, but he did some.
Who is it? I missed who.
Jim W.
Wow,
I know.
good job.
Not bad, Jim.
That's beautiful.
It is, and he's got his own custom business label right there under the strings. Good
Delta
stuff.
Blues.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Next up, we have Brian D. Brian D. got this. Now, I'm fond of this because so check this out. So it's an Ash, Brian D. writes in that it's an Ash 3-string solid body electric brown maple neck with spalted ambrosia maple fretboard. That's great, and it really is. What I'm really impressed by is that fractal burn that he burnt into the body, and then he put some glow resin in on that, and then sanded it down and top coated it. Now, I just the other day saw, and I presume this is how Brian D. did it, but I don't know. I saw somebody doing it to a skateboard the other day on the Facebooks, where you hook up a positive and a negative terminal to one side, either side of a wood piece, and I guess they're plugged into a car battery or whatnot, and it naturally, in slow motion, it kind of burns its way through. Yeah. And so then
Do you have to soak it in salt water or anything?
Yeah,
That I
you
don't
soak
know.
it in a solution first, like a
Conductivity.
alkaline, and so it doesn't burn as fast.
I like all of those things. I gotta try that. I like woodworking, burning things, electricity, yeah.
And I'm not recommending any. This is not a recommendation. Please don't hook up battery cables upon if.
Too late. I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm
Glenn
going.
Watt said.
Disclaimer: Don't do this at home unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not.
Clearly, none of us do.
Yeah, I did not recommend that you do this. Please don't. Or do. But
And when you do, send us pictures.
all right. So thank you very much, Brian D. I think that's super awesome, and I hope that more people get that sort of bug to do interesting stuff on their own instruments. Next up, we have Scott G. Scott G. Now, you're like, Glenn, what is this? These aren't cigar box guitars. I get it, but these are handmade musical instruments made with parts that they bought from us, and I'm inspired by them. This thing is actually back from the days when I used to hang out in my bedroom listening to Iron Maiden all day long, so it reminds me of my metal days, and that looks like a BC Rich Warlock. Now, Scott G made this, and he writes that the single bridges, because he's using our single bridges, so the single bridges allowed him to finally build a multi-scale project. So I don't know that you can see it especially on a mobile device, but if you're on a desktop or a tablet, you can maybe be able to see how the frets are not after a certain point are not perpendicular to the neck. They actually start angling, and you can see that because the bridge is angled, the frets are starting to angle. So he's got this like so each string operates on a different scale length.
Fan frets.
1 second. You can talk.
Yeah, so it's just super interesting. I really think it's the time and the care and the precision that goes into making an instrument like that those sort of characteristics of a multi-scale, multi-stringed instrument. That's just really impressive stuff. And I'm just glad again that parts that we have here, especially those single string bridges that you could use on a diddly bow, or in this case, a 6-string guitar.
I'm gonna push a larger image. So
Larger image.
Large image.
Look out, people. That's a little larger.
It is a little bit larger.
Virtually.
But so you can
20%
see,
bigger.
I'm starting now after like, what is it, the 9th or 10th fret, that the frets start really kind of angling down towards the same direction as the bridge is angling down, if you will. But really cool stuff, and I'm glad Nick is actually able to blow that up a little bit so you can see it, hopefully see
That's
it.
advanced nickery right there, people.
There's a lot of it. So thank you very much, Scott G. I appreciate that. Last up is our good friend, Rick G.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the one. I'm sorry. Thank you. Actually, part of the reason I wanted to highlight this from Scott G's guitars also is that he has this incredible snakeskin finish. Again, I don't know if you can see it or not, especially on a mobile device, but holy cannoli, that is just really good stuff. And having it on such that fancy pants, like BC Rich Warlock body type and the multi-scale string thing. It's just too much going on for my taste. I like sticks in a box, but this thing is super nice. So thank you very much. It's just
in a box.
It sticks in a box, and it's really cool to know that we got like super advanced builders like Rob Roble and whomever else that build super high-end stuff, and it's just nice to know that there are also more conventional guitarists who like to frequent our shop as well, because they care too about making neat handmade stuff. Last up is Rick G. Rick G's got here for you a
Just tuned in.
Hey Rick G, welcome. Is that really? Yeah, Rick G just tuned in.
This is serious.
Rick G, this is your bass buddy. He built with the CB Gitty 2-string G bass kit right here, but his is much fancier. He writes in, I always wanted a Gibson EBO bass after seeing Ronnie James Dio play one in the band Elf from his stomping ground, Central New York, that he used to go see before Ronnie James, joined the band Rainbow. Thought it was so cool now that he has one, or now Rick built himself one. You can see that I think of it as an SG style, but as a bass it was an EBO. And Rick writes in, and I thought this is a special part too to that Rick's story, is that he's been through some major surgeries, and wielding heavy tools and doing lots of strange motions and whatnot, unfortunately don't really work for him physically right now, and he's just grateful that he can still stay building this thing that he loves, making musical instruments, thanks in part to the kits that we have here. And I think you're just doing terrific things with our kits, Rick. And I've got to say this, I'm happy that I ended, because this is the end of Walk Corner. I'm glad that you're the last entry that we're sharing here for Walk Corner here, Rick, because we got some special stuff coming up next about how proud we are of you. Hey! So thank you.
Walk Corner, yeah. All right, Matthew Simpson popped in there to say that he believes that fractal burning is done with a microwave transformer out of a microwave oven. Very high voltages, very dangerous.
Don't do this.
Yeah. That reminds me of a story. When I was a kid, well, a teenager, my grandpa had a transformer out of a furnace, an old oil-burning furnace that takes 110 or 120 volts up to like 10,000 volts. And I was allowed to play with it, of course, like any normal kid. That thing would make an arc 2 inches long, hold the wires, bzz, bzz. It was fun. So I bet that would do some fractaling.
Bet you're right.
Yeah, buddy. All right, so Rick Gainey, or Rick G.
Yeah, Rick Gainey.
Yeah, well, we're going to call him out here. Rick Gainey, in addition to building that awesome bass and some other things, has some instruments that have been accepted for an exhibition at the Salvador Dali Museum down in Florida. Salvador Dali, you may know, is a famous surrealist painter. He did the one of the clock, melted clock hanging over the tree branch, and some other kind of like weird and wild stuff. Well, Rick has done a couple of guitars that feature, like one has a self-portrait of Salvador Dali on it and some other things. And they've been accepted by the museum, and they're going to go on display, I think, December 5th, the exhibit begins. One of 12 people whose work was chosen to be a part of this exhibit. So I think that's awfully cool. Homemade instruments taking a place in like the real art world, the larger world of fine art. Pretty cool stuff. So great work out of you, Rick Gainey. He posted a link today to an article that was published down there, or actually not down there, where he lives, in New York somewhere. So yeah, awesome work, man. That's cool to see.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking of builders, of cigar box guitars and other instruments. If you are a builder, we are offering a wholesale pricing deal on the songbooks that I've created and that we publish here at CB Gitty. Cigar box guitar songbooks, Canjo songbooks, 50% off if you get 10 or more of any single title. You can include these with the guitars you're selling. If you're doing festivals, if you're out there, if you're selling online, if you say comes with a free songbook, 39 to 40 songs, includes how to play, you're more likely to sell that guitar, especially if you're setting up and selling in person. You can show them, look, it comes with this.
So can we say what the retail price is on any given, that songbook? What's the retail price?
On this new songbook, the retail price is $17.99.
Okay,
it's
so
152 pages, so it would be half that.
So round it up, let's call it $18. You buy 10 or more of them, you get them a half price off. So let's
$9.
$9, and you roll that into the price of a guitar. That's
Yeah.
nothing. But the added value of saying to somebody, this thing comes with this thing that allows you to learn how to play it is, and it's not just like a song sheet. We're talking about, in this case, of all the songbooks that we self-published that Ben has written. That one is, again, how many songs? 72?
49 songs,
50
multiple
songs.
arrangements.
Yeah.
And the how to play stuff in the beginning,
Yeah.
how to read tablature, how to read chord forms, how to play the songs.
Yes, all of that.
It gets people started making music. Simple 3-string tablature, which is why I'm creating them, to get people started playing songs they've probably heard. Like Black Velvet Band, Arkansas Traveler is on this, the old fiddle tune. Aloha Ui, Grandfather's Clock, Holloway Joe. Old MacDonald Had a Farm. There's kids songs, there's Americana, folk, spirituals, all sorts of good stuff in there.
If nothing else, you should be going to cigarboxguitar.com, downloading and printing off like a song or two from our free tablature section and giving those out with your instruments.
Yeah.
But this is true. This is a thing that they put on their table. It's a thing that you hold. People are proud to have it on a bookshelf. And again, it's not just a song sheet like that you would download from cigarboxguitar.com. It is an instructional manual. It's a whole thing that people can learn from front to back to learn how to play the instrument that you just sold them. It's just genius stuff. So
value added, upsell, whatever you want to call it. If you're trying to sell cigar box guitars, these will help.
Yes.
I virtually guarantee it. Virtual guarantee.
All
What the hell does that mean? I don't know, but I'm pretty darn sure it'll help. So that is the new Cigar Box Guitar Songbook Volume 2.
Yes.
Volume 1 had 45 songs. This one has 49. The Christmas songbook recently came out. We're getting into the time of the year. This is the draft version that has different artwork on the front. The actual version has artwork by our own Farley, who is busy out there at the electronics bench as we speak. She's like, I got no time to be on your show. I've work to do. She did not say any of those words. All right, who we got out there, Glenn Watt?
Danny Weddle says, yeah, that's what I did for the auction, so that's awesome that you must have been either, I don't know if it was a songbook or printed out song sheets. That's terrific. Gotcha, thank you. Keith Rearick, good to see you. Who else? Matthew Simpson's already been sending. Shaq Collins.
Well, Matthew Simpson's basically given a tutorial on how to do fractal burning out there. He said a saltwater solution,
yeah.
which makes sense because you want the most conductivity you can have.
Yep, Philip Taylor, good to see you. Randy Pepler. So the fact that, again, we say it all the time, but Janice Wilson Hughes,
J-Dub!
And William Sneed, we say it all the time, but I can't.
I saw Jim Bird out there.
Jim Bird, roll tide.
Roll tide.
We can't say it enough that it's really a privilege and an honor that you would spend the time that you are with us right now, whether it be watching it live or after the fact, that you spend this amount of time with us and just kind of hang out and join the community in the comments, excuse me, not the comics, comments. But we really appreciate it, so thank you. It's good stuff. And if you'd like to share this show publicly, you will be entered in to win next week's drawing of a gift certificate.
4 $50 gift certificates will be given away. We're going to announce the winners of last week's.
Shortly.
I want to try Arkansas Traveler. You know this, most of you probably have heard this tune. I was working on it a little bit before the show. It's one...
Clay Clark, there's always room for dog fans. Go ahead.
Dog fans?
I don't know if it's Dog Pound
Cleveland Browns?
It could be Cleveland Browns.
Almost. Let's try it again. Once upon a time in Arkansas, an old man sat on his little cabin door. Devil had a tune that he liked to hear. I've been getting into old fiddle tunes. This songbook has Arkansas Traveler and Old Joe Clark. I think there's one more fiddle tune in there, but some of those, a lot of them came down through the Scotch-Irish people who came to the Appalachian region and kind of brought in some of those old Celtic tunes, all sorts of good stuff. But there are certain ones of these that I want to have in my internal song bag, you know, my internal songbook memorized. Break them out at any time. That's one. Arkansas Traveler. Turkey in the Straw is another one. We're doing it just before the show.
That's another song that Nick tabbed on cigarboxguitar.com, Turkey in the Straw.
Oh, yeah.
Hum the first bar for me. All right, got it. Close, so close. All right, so yeah, good old fiddle tunes. So yeah, thanks again. How in the heck did you convert that to a 3-string? It's all here in the book, Kirk Otto, in the book. It takes, I don't want to downplay what it does take to arrange some of these songs into 3-string arrangements. Finding the right key is important, because if they go too low or too high, it's not effective to play them. So there are some songs I've run into that just can't very effectively be done on a 3-string cigar box guitar, but not many. I ain't gonna lie.
And this past week, I know we gotta get moving.
Sailor's Hornpipe. I actually am working on. Sorry, Glenn.
No, go
working on Sailor's Hornpipe for the Celtic songbook series that I'm now working on. I can't think how the Sailor's Hornpipe goes now. It's the Popeye song.
I don't know.
Oh well. The Popeye theme song. It's the old Sailor's Hornpipe.
Oh.
That's gonna take some doing. Yeah, buddy. That's a good one. Good suggestion.
It's a little easier without frets because you can just.
Yeah, fake it. Janice Wilson Hughes says, "You are made for playing that hobo fiddle." Thank you, Janice. That's good of you. Something's flowing out of me. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, Rusty, what's the Georgia Tech mascot name? And yes, Clay, it was Georgia Bulldogs are always welcome.
Georgia Bulldogs.
Rusty...
I knew he didn't mean the Cleveland Browns. Nobody ever means the Cleveland Browns.
Oh.
They won a game, though.
Hey.
Tied one, won one. This is a winning season, folks. Shane Spiel's out there. Hey, Shane Spiel is out at Spiel's Tavern right now, as we speak, revamping, refurbing, reinvigorating the cigar box guitar museum he has out there. A whole slew of historic, antique cigar box guitars with explanatory placards, I believe. He's going to be doing a show there tonight. I believe Uncle Greg, you might not know who Uncle Greg is, but he's the Reverend Peyton of Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. His cigar box guitars are built by his Uncle Greg.
That's awesome.
The Uncle Greg is at Spiel's Tavern with Shane Spiel. Jim Morris, I believe, making the trip. Louis LaManna might be out there. I've heard
he just said he was on his way back.
On his way back?
Yeah.
From Spiel's Tavern.
Yeah.
Boy, it's hard to keep track of these people. On the move.
That's what you call a good community there. You're willing to travel to help that out.
Yeah, that's true.
I had the pleasure of meeting Louis and his wife Deb down at the York, Pennsylvania Cigar Box Guitar Festival. All right, we got another song for you, people.
Shane's in the audience.
Shane's Spiel!
Yellow Jackets.
Shows tomorrow night at Spiel's Tavern.
All right.
All right, so here is another song for Veterans Day.
Yes.
This song is included in this new songbook along with the Marines hymn. So I've already told you it's not the Air Force, and I just implied it's not the Marines hymn.
Yes.
How many does that leave? 2. Those of you who are connoisseurs of Gitty songbooks know that Anchors Aweigh was in Volume 1, leaving only the Army song, officially previously known as the U.S. Field Artillery March, with music written by Mr. John Philip Sousa and the words by some other guy. Gonna do it in the key of C. It's a lively one. Caissons go rolling along. Over hill, over dale, as we hit the dusty trail, and those caissons go rolling along. In and out, hear them shout, counter march and ride about, and the caissons go rolling along. Then it's hi, hi, he in the field artillery. Shout out your numbers loud and strong, and wherever you go, you will always know that those caissons go rolling along. Think one more time on that. I didn't learn all the verses, folks. There's a lot of them, so we're gonna do that same one over again. Over hill, over dale, as we hit the dusty trail, and those caissons go rolling along. In and out, hear them shout, counter march and ride about, and those caissons go rolling along. And then it's hi, hi, he in the field artillery. Shout out your numbers loud and strong, and wherever you go, you will always know that those caissons go rolling along. And those caissons go rolling along. Woo! All right. Boy, I wish we had a user-submitted video, or a customer-submitted video to run right now, don't you?
It'd be a nice transition.
Send us some videos
Please.
that we can run as transitions on this show, because being able to, even 30 seconds, being able to breather after a song, after Watt Corner, is really nice. And yes, we could rerun stuff, we could make our own videos, but we'd sure rather you make them and send them to us.
So if I may, I think this is an excellent request. This is impromptu. 30 to 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Some sort of a performance video.
That'd be great.
Where would one send these videos?
To Glenn Watt at Glenn
Yeah, I was going to say, Nick and I are looking at each other like,
Well,
who's
it doesn't have to be a performance. Like if you have a shop tool
Yeah,
or
show
a jig or
show
anything that you wanna,
a how-to, like,
Yeah.
here's how I do do.
I mean, performances are always good if you want to
Oh,
get
sure.
your songs out.
If you can keep a how-to under a minute, I mean, like, it's just that's...
Oh, yeah.
Well, it doesn't. 30 to 60 seconds is okay. Up to 3 to 5 minutes, you know.
I'll hold you to that.
Try
If it
not
needs
to
cutting, I will-
run on too long.
If it needs cutting, I will trim it
Yeah,
down.
we can edit. We can edit.
He's on record.
How do we submit? Kirk Otto says.
Support. Well,
Yeah, videos are big. You can start by contacting us. Google Drive is
yeah,
a good way.
easiest would be Google Drive.
Google Drive if you have access to that. But
Dropbox.
sending an email to support@cbgitty.com saying, hey, I've got this video, how do I get it to you? And then we can make arrangements behind the scenes. Or uploading it to the Rivet system.
Yeah, that helps too. But linking, like, sending us a link to your YouTube video is not how we can air the
Yeah.
video. We actually have to have the
Yeah,
file.
We
Yeah.
can't pull them down
Yeah.
from YouTube and rerun them.
Yeah.
So Michael
But we-
Otto uses Google Drive.
Yep.
It's a handy thing.
It is. It is. All right, I'm sorry. Good stuff.
Oh yeah, that wasn't in the script. The whole send us your videos thing, but we do mean it.
Well, we're also, I know Glenn and I were talking about doing something podcasty.
Podcasting.
If you have any ideas for that, I'd love to see them. You can
I have no pod, but I like to cast.
but I know there was some out there that were interested in doing an audio thing. So I
Like
think
a
that's
radio
something-
show?
Yeah,
That'd be interesting.
yeah. Just to try out.
Yeah.
We need topics.
Topics.
We need topics.
Use a topic.
I will post after the show. I'll post something on Cigar Box Nation to see if we can get some requests rather than
Alright.
send them all to the email. Unless you don't want me to post it on.
I don't know. We're so far off the reservation at this point. I don't know what the hell's happening. But here's one thing I do know. Something new and exciting happened at CB Gitty this week.
It did.
If I wasn't here in front of this camera talking to you, I would be working on this. I was up to about 10 minutes before the show. I was in, and Glenn's like, we got to run through these songs. A new device, a printer. You know, for a while now, we've been doing illustrated guitars. We've got some around here. Using the ink transfer process where we print and then transfer the ink on, which gives a nice diffused look. Well, just this week, it made the investment in a new printer that is basically a UV cured flat panel printer that can print directly on wooden panels, on metal, right onto the tops of boxes. Glenn, I forgot to bring in the cigar box that has Fire Chief on it.
Fire Chief!
Can you grab that for
I
me
will.
while I babble on? And
Fire
Nick, once Glenn runs off here, hang on, folks, don't worry. This is all part of the show. I've got some examples to show off here. So here are a couple of boxes. If you can bring it to cam 2 here, Nick, for the close-up. So here, oh, that's close, all right.
Yeah,
there we are. No, I got it. Here is our French Quarter illustrated guitar design. I put this image together using an old map of New Orleans and some other graphics. This is not a decal. This is printed directly onto the surface of this box using UV cured ink. It cures it as soon as it goes on. It's durable. It's amazing. Here is our Old Glory design, printed, again, directly onto the wooden surface of this box. No decals, no diffusion, full photo quality, full color. Here comes Glenn Watt with something I'm really excited about. A lot of people, especially our buddy Frank in Austria, likes to point out that what I just showed you, there we are, what I just showed you is not an actual cigar box. That's a wooden box that we're using as a cigar box. Well, this is an actual cigar kind of. This is an actual cigar box. Oh, we went back to the full screen.
Oh, well,
Thanks,
I mean, we were
Nick.
talking. I wasn't going to show.
So I took this Fuente Double Chateau and printed the old classic cigar box art, Fire Chief, right on the top. This is the actual top of the cigar box with a custom image printed right on there. Really cool stuff. Here's just a couple of other examples. I've got some aluminum license plate blanks, and I printed out a Cigar Box Nation license plate on one. And again, this is directly on the metal. There's no decal, there's no sticker, nothing like that. Woo, that was close. This was a fun little thing. This is one of our 5-inch paint can lids, half-gallon paint can lids. Printed the old Sopwith Camel, Eddie Rickenbacker design on there, just to see how that would go. And then just before the show, the thing I was working on, this is one of the 5.5-inch resonator cone covers, cut out of stainless steel. And I printed that patriotic design right on there. Tried it on the back first, didn't have it lined up quite right. Flipped it over, did it on this side.
That's awesome.
And pretty cool stuff, huh? So this is going to open up a lot of potential here at CB Gitty for what we can do. Printing designs onto...
Contrary to some people's opinions, hopefully, Kurt Gardner, the awesome innovations will not end.
There's a few yet to go, Kurt.
Yes.
Don't worry. I'm still trying to wrap my head around all of the ways this can be used in combination with our laser cutter and the plasma cutter, the box kits, printing the tops, the custom box kits like Jimmy Circles that was shown earlier that we've been doing using that ink transfer process. Now we can do using this full photo resolution, full color amazingness. Yeah, printing box tops, the illustrated guitars, custom tailpieces, sound hole covers, headstock templates, pick guards, branding badges. If you've got a brand, if you're building cigar box guitars and have a brand, we can print branding tags. We can make ding, ding. So much stuff. I know Rob Roble, who just popped up out there, he's got a brand. Rob, we can do custom printed Rob's Cigar Box Guitars boxes for you. We can...
Yeah. It's
cool. Exciting. There's
Yeah.
a lot of design work to do, but that is a huge step forward on what we're able to do. So yeah.
Good stuff.
What do we got next?
I believe we have... People have been waiting for the drawing winners.
Oh, the drawing. The winner. You want to
Who won?
announce the drawing winners? Why don't you? I've been talking
All right.
so much.
So last week, those of you who kindly shared this show publicly so that we could see that you shared the show were entered into a drawing to win one of 4 $50 gift certificates to not a chain restaurant or the dollar store, but CB Gitty Crafter Supply.
Woo!
One of 4 $50 gift certificates. Now, last week's winners have been drawn.
They have.
And they are...
Well, but wait, I had to disqualify a winner.
Yeah, tell us.
I had to disqualify a winner because I use a random number generator and then match it up with the number from the list of sharers. Mrs. Gitty, Dawn Mrs. Gitty Baker, was one of the selections, and I had to tell her, "You're disqualified!"
And then she promptly grabbed the kit and walked out the door.
Yeah, like, I'm taking what I want. All right, fine. So anyway, here's the 4 winners.
All right, first up, Dwayne Yarbrough. Good on you, Dwayne.
Dwayne Yarbrough.
Glad to see you getting a gift
Not
certificate.
his first time winning. I had to look it up. Back in September he won, but I figured that's far enough back.
You keep
Well,
sharing, man.
well,
You might
hey,
keep winning. That's
keep
awesome.
Sharing, keep winning.
That's right. Chris L. Binge. Chris
Binge.
L. Binge. Thank you for sharing. You, sir, are a winner. Now, I'm going to actually go through the next two. Dan Jones, and Brett Olson. Brett Olson. All awesome. Thank you very much for sharing. Now, if you hear your name, whether it be live now or up to the next 6 days, or you're a friend of these individuals, let them know because they need to, whether it be Dwayne Yarbrough, Chris L. Binge,
Shit, she's out there.
Dan Jones, or Brett Olson, Chris. So not you,
Oh,
Chris.
no, my wife just heard all of that.
Yep.
Love you.
Well, Chris Binge is out there now, too.
Hey, Chris.
So if you, aside from Chris who's listening, and I don't know about Dwayne, Dan, or Brett, but if you know that you have won, you have to contact us through Facebook Messenger, Cigar Box Nation.
Yeah, send a message to the Cigar Box Nation page on Facebook, and good things
We'll
will
get
happen.
back to you.
Yeah.
So again, thank you very much, each and every one of you, for sharing. Thank you very much to Dwayne, Brett, Dan, and Chris for sharing and winning. Didn't even look.
He
Didn't even look.
have to look.
I was a
people.
bartender. I
Look
just
at this
names,
guy. Just
names.
boom, here you go. Hey.
Bah. All right, so thank you very much.
All right. Well, a couple of announcements. I already announced about Shane being out there at Spiel's Tavern, the home of the, I believe, the only active, publicly accessible cigar box guitar museum currently going. I know our good buddy Bill Yaley has a heck of a collection and used to have it set up as a display, but I think that might be in storage. I know Charles Atchison has quite a collection, but it's a private collection. Speaking of Charles Atchison, the final batch, the last batch of his resonator cones, all the material he had left, bought them. They are now available at cbgitty.com. Pretty much 50 of the 5.5-inch aluminum Lightning resonator cones available.
Nice. Which
this handy dandy printed cover I showed off a minute ago fits. No. And also got seven of the 7-inch copper resonator cones. Now, I had thought those were completely discontinued. I had deleted the listing from the cbgitty.com site for the 7-inch copper spun Charles Atchison resonator cones. If you're interested in one, send a message to support@cbgitty.com and we'll make it happen. I don't know if we're going to create a listing just for 7 of them, but we'll do something with them. Here's something nobody knows but me. The New Orleans Cigar Box Guitar Festival is coming up in January, the 16th through the 19th, I think. It's a 3-day event down there in New Orleans. Just the other day, the organizer, Collins Kirby, sent me a text saying, would you be willing to do a 20 to 30 minute set on stage on Friday? And I said, well, I guess so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so going to be doing Boxcar Ben Gitty, a shortened version of what happened in Pennsylvania.
That's cool.
A few songs down there on the stage in New Orleans at a show headlined, as far as I know, still by Miss Samantha Fish on Saturday night. So it's going to be a heck of a show. He played me off. No, he's playing me off.
I am playing.
You see how this happens? How this works? How do we do today? A little longer show than last week. And we didn't even have any, we didn't have a, what's the deal with Spiel?
No.
What is the deal with Spiel? I still don't know. But he's out there at Spiel's Tavern doing the Lord's work.
Well, we did have what's the deal. Granted, we just talked about it for a while, but the museum down there and how he's everything going.
Yeah, buddy.
So tomorrow
Clay Clark, I'm not personally playing with Samantha Fish that I know of. That would be interesting to end with a big hootenanny jamboree up on the stage, though, wouldn't it?
So tomorrow we do have the CBG Michiganders Club, the CBG-minded Michiganders 33rd club meeting, organized by Preston L., stalwart and true Cigar Box Nation members. Preston L., tomorrow, 1 to 5 p.m. at Red Sky Stage in Petoskey, Michigan. So go, if you can.
You know, we don't just sit around and jam as much as we used to. You know, back in the summertime, sitting out on the loading dock, sipping sun tea.
All day. You're a benevolent employer.
All right, here we go. We ready? Well, it's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. And we came to you live from CB Gitty. Well, all you need is a sticker box and some strings. I say all you need is a sticker box and some strings. And you put them all together, you know she's gonna ring. Sing. Well, it's the Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
Said the Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
It's the Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
It's the Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Bass solo.
Yep.
Verses, folks. I think that's all we got for you this week. Thanks again for joining us. We will, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. See you again next week here on Cigar Box Nation TV.